96.1 AM 1180 KERN. Online at KernRadio.com. Now, here is your host, JR.
Top of the day to you. This is the JR Show. I am your host, JR Flores. You're listening to Kern Radio. Check us out online at KernRadio.com. You can download the Kern Radio app to your smart device and take us on all your summer vacations. I know some people going out on a cruise today. Hopefully they are taking me with them. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, and streaming live on YouTube. Just search Kern Radio. If you're looking for Kern Radio on YouTube, just put the @ symbol, Kern Radio, one word, @Kern Radio. You set up notifications and find out every time that we go live on YouTube. You can also find me on social media. Just look up JR Flores, or why not JR? Same platforms, same bat channel. We're all out there. It's Friday. Happy Friday. It is a What the Faith Friday. So you'll be hearing a lot of worship music, but we're going to actually have a guest. City Councilman Zack Bashirtash is going to join us. He was one of two city councilmen, him and finally showed up Ken Weir. Where's Weir? That's what we call him around. Where's Weir? Him and Where's Weir, City Councilman Ken Weir, also voting no on the new city budget that was approved at this week's city council meeting. City Councilman Zack Bashirtash will join the program in the next segment in about 10 minutes or so. He'll tell us why he voted no and what he thinks and where we should be headed for the city. Also, some other local stories to cover. The county is opening up their $4 million park out at Hart Park. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And speaking of city budget, did you see? If you follow me on social media, I shared a story yesterday about who the highest paid employee in the city of Bakersfield is. Goodness gracious. I mean, I'm glad that we're spending so much money on law enforcement, but at the same time, I say one man, not even the chief. It's not even you, Chief. Not even Chief Terry making the most. One of his lieutenants is the highest paid employee in the city of Bakersfield. We'll go over that as well, and we'll talk a little bit of sports as we head into the weekend with our man Chris Burdick of the Early Bird Special, heard on our sister station, ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. You can hear that every weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Plus, your text messages and phone calls are always welcome. 661-842-5376, 661-842-KERN. You can text, you can call, you can even email me, jr@kernradio.com, or I believe there's a chat room right inside of the YouTube video. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can jump into the YouTube chat there and Eva's reach us that way, and we'll try to respond if we can. But like I was saying, not even the chief of police, and we'll get into it with our next guest, City Councilman Zack Bashirtash. The highest paid city employee turns out to be a Bakersfield police lieutenant or sergeant. I apologize. It's not a fire. Most of the time it's the fire guys. No knock on my fire guys. I appreciate all you guys do. You're working very hard. You have to leave your families at home. You sacrifice a whole bunch. I think there's ways we could rework your schedules that would help save the city a whole ton of money, but I'm not sure the union will be willing to do that. But they do hard work. But no, it's not the fire guys. It's actually a police sergeant who makes a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. You'll learn that the cost of employees is about $177 million of our budget. That's a dime. The, our 177 bill. I'm sorry, a lot to pay the employees. This particular sergeant, and since this has come out, the city did make a statement. The city reached out to 17 News to say that there's some inaccuracies in the data provided by the state controller, and that the city is consulting with the state to make those corrections. They didn't, or at least it wasn't reported in this, say whether or not the inaccuracy had to do with this particular police sergeant. You see, his regular pay is $126,000 a year. Okay. But as I stated in my Facebook post yesterday, in overtime, he makes $143,000. Wait, hold on. How do you make almost $20,000 more than your regular salary in overtime? You're more than doubling your pay in overtime. Not to mention that he got also a $54,000 lump sum. Doesn't say what it's for, but that brings his total wage to $324,441, according, now again, this is according to the state controller's website. Depending on who you believe, the state controller, which, trust me, I don't trust them as much as they don't trust, exactly. But then again, I don't trust the city either. So who are you going to believe? That's up to you. That's up to you. I can't help you on that. The next biggest earner was a fire engineer who received $308,000 in total wage. Again, he's only making $126,000 in regular. That overtime pay is $160,000. And there was people that reached out to me and said, JR, and I said it in my post, we must be really, really shorthanded if we're paying guys this much in overtime. And I screwed up when I went salary. Apparently, I don't know why these guys aren't on salary and how overtime kicks in, because I don't get overtime when my butt works over 40 hours every single week. No, I'm salary. So how these guys still get overtime? Fire engineer making 126 and 160 in overtime and another 21,000 in a lump sum pay. Why are these guys working so much overtime? And again, the sergeants, lieutenants, they're on call. Something happens, they got to wake up in the middle of the night and come out. If that showed up in my budget here at work, if Chris was somehow making more in overtime than he was in his regular pay, we'd be calling Chris in. Hey, Chris. Right? Again, we're in the long run of work, my friend. It's security guards, Transwest security guards, and apparently police sergeants and fire engineers. And if the regular pay doesn't attract you, well, we have overtime and plenty of it. Because if you're making more, let's just say Chris works 40 hours a week. He gets a paycheck for that. Now, if he wants to make twice as much in overtime pay, he's got to work a little bit more. He's got to put in half of that to get to there, right? Because it's time and a half. Are these guys making double on OT? When it's overtime, are you pulling in double pay at that point? So what are you putting in, 60 hours a week? 80? I get it. We're shorthanded. People are on call. People call in sick. I know how you guys like to work that. Hey, I'll call in sick this week and you pick up my shifts, which will get you a certain amount of overtime. And then in 2 weeks, you'll call in of that over time, and then you see how that works out, and then boom, we're all making more. Yeah, I know how that works. When I look at things, I just try to say, make it make sense to me, please. Somebody, anybody, make it make sense to me. And these things they don't make sense to. I'll ask our city councilman coming up in the next segment. He is our guest coming up. City Councilman Zack Bashirtash will be joining the show to discuss the city budget. He voted no. We'll get his reasoning why. At least I guess him and Ken, where you been, Weir, had the sense enough to vote no.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the JR Show.
My Savior, the one
who will never fail. You will never. Welcome back. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. Check us out at kernradio.com, the Kern Radio app, and social media. Just look up Kern Radio. I'm also out there. JR Flores, or why not JR? We're speaking with City Councilman Zack Bashirtash about the city budget that was passed earlier this week during the City Council meeting. Before we went to break, we were talking about how we need to start doing things differently, Councilman. Obviously, we had to take, and they'll tell you that, oh, well, Measure N can be used for anything. It really is. And I've had another city councilman tell me, well, Measure N, it really is general fund money. So it's not really like we're taking from Measure N to balance our budget per se. And that line of thinking, I think, makes us continue going down the same road where it's like, well, yeah, but let's not continue to rely on it, please.
Well, not rely on it, but the hardest thing and the worst thing that I've seen in local government, experiencing hands-on now and seeing it on a national level, a lot of adults have such a difficult time admitting when they're wrong and adjusting. Instead, I see excuse on top of excuse. Well, we didn't try it this way. And I'm like, this is a dead thing. This is a dead idea. And it's okay to say we messed up. We made a mistake. That's the integrity thing to do. It doesn't mean you keep throwing money at it, hoping that maybe a new style or maybe just the timing. It's like, no, this is a dead thing. And the reason that exists is because history is dead. People no longer invest in learning history. They try and invest into other funky things when they're learning and understanding how life and stuff works. But I just challenge you, like, did we have this, whatever problem you think that you're dealing with, our city's doing right now, did it exist 30 years ago? If the answer is no, well, what did we have 30 years ago that helped curb this issue, curb this problem? And maybe we go back to some of those things that we had infrastructure set up back in the day, when you actually had prisons open and there was actual mental institutions open where people could get treatment and help. And now we have a city, overrun with, it's crazy. And just trying to get people to dial it back, to just think differently. Like, is this working? We've spent $30 million here, $20 million here, $5 million. If the answer is no, let's stop. Let's go back to the drawing board and reevaluate what works. That's a business philosophy and perspective.
Yeah, let's just every
day. But for some reason, people get into politics and in government. They're just like, well, let's keep doing that. No, let's stop. And I just look again like the grumpy old man.
Keep doing it. I will support you every single time you do it, because we've ballooned our operational costs to $765 million, just operational costs alone. I mean, that's because when they go, oh, well, we've had to hire this person and the city manager's office has hired this many people. Those aren't one-time costs, Councilman. Those are long ongoing costs, talking about into retirements. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes, absolutely. But, and that's the thing that I wrestle with. You talk to people about that, and you bring that up, and it's not, I get a little curious and frustrated when I talk to individuals that don't understand that perspective. And it makes me think, well, maybe you're not in Bakersfield for the long haul. Maybe you don't care that much because it's easy for you to just pack up and leave and go to another town,
right,
or go run somewhere else. And I'm like, this is my stinking home. I'm staying here for the rest of my life. I want to make sure my kids, my neighbors' kids, my employees' kids, and their families have a place that they can be proud of, and not that's just squandered into the ground because someone wanted to get involved and they, just made horrible decisions thinking based on feelings instead of fact, and then we're stuck having to clean up the mess. I can't stand it. I couldn't sit and shake my fist at a TV or radio anymore. I had to run, and it's frustrating, but I'm not giving up, and I'm not going anywhere.
Well, if I keep shaking my fist, I might have to just join you up there. I know you were in a, because they have you sit on these subcommittees. You were in a meeting yesterday and they were discussing the hiring freeze that basically must happen at this point.
Yes.
So is that going into effect, and when will that happen?
It is going to affect. There's a few different variables that are going on with it, and I can't, because there's still decisions that need to be made. There's not a whole lot of people I can go into, but a freeze is coming, and it's a little frustrating even on my end on what can be accomplished through it. But there will be some positions that are kind of held up, not deleted or completely cleared out, and public safety positions are still going to be open. And there's another amazing police academy that starts next week, and I'm stoked about that one. But there are positions being frozen, and it's going to free up a little bit of the budget. But that's kind of all I can say about that right now.
Is it going to be enough? I mean, where do we go from here at this point?
Well, either perspectives have to change, and people have to take their feelings and emotion out of their decision making, because it's not a matter of feelings or emotions. It's facts. We can look at numbers. We can reference history. It doesn't need to be even my perspective or anyone else's. And people need to stop treating it like that and actually start doing right by the people, instead of right by their friend group or right by, their little tiny circle of influence. It's like we have an entire city of people that look differently, think differently, act differently. We have to look out for all of them, not just what piques our interest. And I think having some new perspective, and elections are every 4 years for council, and there's all kinds of seats changing and people doing stuff. And I just encourage people, go in. But for me, I tell people, if you want to run and get involved in government, go get a job and work in a private business first, because if you don't have that experience under your belt or understanding basic financial principles, how taxes work, how expenses and revenues work, then you're not going to be able to make good decisions, and you'll probably be part of the problem.
I would say just manage an office. Heck, just balancing the budget at my home it's common sense, right? And even that, and I forecast and I go, okay, next year, I hope to make this much money, but just in case I don't, I always have this much in reserves, just in case something happens, just in case, I don't know, the sewer line goes out and I need to replace the whole facility. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're definitely on the same page. But this is my perspective on reserves and using that to satisfy shortfalls on the budget. Because it's the people's money and it's not the city's bank account, it's the people's tax dollars. I think of it like this: if I have $4,000 in bills and I have $3,000 in income coming in, but I go to my kid's piggy bank and I take $1,000 away from them, and then I say, you know what, the budget's good because I didn't go into debt. Well, no, you took from your $1,000.
Did you even tell them? Did you? And you're not even telling the kids. You're just taking it from their piggy bank and not even mentioning it.
Yeah, and that's why I have to pull myself back off the ledge, because it infuriates me. But I tell them, listen, let your feelings go. This is a factual thing. If we do not prioritize infrastructure, actual public safety, and doing right by our constituents, we are going to continue down this path of wasting money and nothing is going to get done. We're going to continue to see the streets in disrepair. We're going to continue to see walls falling apart. We're going to continue to have water issues, sewage issues. And we can't even, it's like, guys, do you understand? Jack of all trades and master of none. No, let's focus on being master of what a city should do and provide for a community. And it's frustrating to sit in city council meetings and you have people that are passionate about certain things. And I'm like, somewhere along the lines, people have confused how nonprofits work and how government works. And the government is supposed to provide core essential services, and all these nonprofits that sit on millions of dollars in their bank accounts should be stepping up to fill in the void when it comes to the destitute in our community and those that are down and out. But, I have a problem with my tax dollars going to not take care of me and my own.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Anybody that pays taxes should feel that way. If you pay taxes and your life is impacted by a lack of infrastructure, then where's your tax money going? What is it going to? What is it paying for? Well, it's paying for a bunch of stuff that doesn't actually impact your life and give you the life and liberty. Well, then there's an issue there, and we need to fix it.
Yeah, can we put a freeze on all non-essential spending, like all these little pet projects? And don't get me wrong, I appreciate the arts. I probably don't appreciate painting the streets green as much as bicycle riders do, but that's a whole nother topic. But at some point we have to go, let's get all these other things in order. Let's get this sewage thing in order. Let's make sure the things that we need before we go out and do these. Oh, we're going to put up another pickleball court. You know what I mean? I appreciate those things, and I understand that we need them. But at some point, even in my house, I go, babe, I can't buy you a new toy this week because I have to pay the light bill.
Yes, that's exactly right. We got enough money for dinner. We're not going to just order dessert. No, you take care of what's important. And I have to tell them, I'm not trying to shoot your idea down. I'm not trying to be
right.
What's important to you. I'm just saying it's not time for that.
At this point.
We don't got, at this point in time, we don't have the money. So if we are limited, where do we put our focus and our energy? On things that benefit our entire community. And, but again, I'm a villain for thinking that.
Well, you're not a villain in my book, brother. If we can just get them to stop painting the streets green, I'd appreciate that part a little bit. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. I don't know, Zach. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate any time that you've given us today, man.
Of course, I appreciate you. Keep fighting the good fight.
You do the same, brother, and you're welcome on here anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's City Councilman Zack Bashirtash. I had a feeling I was going to like that guy. He kind of reminds me of, I don't know, me. Not sure that's a compliment, Zach. I apologize. It's common sense, folks. And that's all you could sum up all of the things that City Councilman Bashirtash just said with 2 words. Common. Is that one word? It might be one word. Common sense. It's common sense. We're gonna have a big party, baby. I know that, rent's due next month, and I didn't get as much as I was supposed to this week because Bakersfield Weight Loss didn't pay me like I thought they would, but it'll be fine. 1 word, 2 words? 2 words. Thank you. I was terrible at English. Math was more my subject. I apologize if I...
The only reason my texts come out with good spelling is because
autocorrect. Yeah, I've failed English a whole year. Junior year, high school, failed the whole year. Sorry if I say things wrong sometimes. You know what I'm talking about. Goodness gracious, it's common sense. We got to take a break. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. You can chime in 661-842-5376, 661-842-KERN. Call, text, email me, jr@kernradio.com. We'll be right back.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Ralph Bailey Show, weekdays from 3 till 6 p.m.
So the defense and the prosecution have rested, and the fate of Sean Combs is in the hands of a New York jury. I think we'll have a verdict no later than Monday, and I think Sean Combs is going to prison for the rest of his natural life.
On News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey, this is JR for Bakersfield Weight Loss. Let's talk about GLP-1s like semaglutides, those weight loss injections that seem to be all the rage these days. If you're currently using semaglutides injections but aren't seeing the results you want, or you've hit a plateau, don't worry. The team at Bakersfield Weight Loss is ready to help you speed up your results safely and effectively. Maybe you had to stop taking the injections due to side effects, or because your insurance no longer covered your treatment, or even worse, you gained the weight back. Don't give up. Go to bakersfieldweightloss.com. What you don't hear about these injections? Many people are facing failed results, bad side effects, rising costs, or simply want to get off the injections. At Bakersfield Weight Loss, they offer a breakthrough natural approach to help reset your metabolism to get the weight off fast and easy and keep it off without exercising, prepackaged foods, or counting calories. They helped me do it. I lost 25 pounds and have kept the weight off. Schedule your free consultation today at bakersfieldweightloss.com or call 661-449-1150. Results may vary.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident with a commercial vehicle? Like an 18-wheeler, delivery van, bus, or rideshare, and you weren't at fault? These cases aren't like regular car accidents. They involve corporations, insurance companies, and complex transportation laws. Justice for commercial vehicle victims starts here. YourCaseCounts.com. No fees unless we win. YourCaseCounts.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at
all dark in
99%
there.
of places that take credit cards nationwide.
Does it look dark on there?
Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the JR Show.
As Father's Friday. Oh, praise the Father and praise the Son. Holy Spirit, make us one. Every nation, tribe and tongue. This is our cry, your kingdom come.
Welcome back.
Yes, Lord.
It's the JR Show. It's a What the Faith Friday as we go into the weekend here. It's Kern Radio. Check us out online, kernradio.com, the Kern Radio app on your smart device, Kern Radio on social media, and now streaming on YouTube. That's right. Just go check us out. Search at Kern Radio right there in the search bar put the @ sign, Kern Radio, one word, and you'll find us streaming live right there. I'm also out there, JR Flores, or why not JR. I want to thank City Councilman Zack Bashirtash for joining us, talking about the city budget that was passed 5-2 this week by the city council. I almost got nicknames for all of them. Let's see, our favorite city councilman, Andre Gonzalez. Count on Coleman. That's a good one. Where you been, Weir? Where you, Bicycle Bob? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Friday, you guys. I apologize. I shouldn't do that. 661-84. If you guys have suggestions, please chime in. 661-842-5376. 661-842-KERN. And don't forget about our fair-haired girl, Manpreet Kaur. Can't forget about our vice mayor. Any text messages there on the line, sir?
Yeah, I got a couple.
What do you got?
Hey, JR, if you
Yes.
work it just right and you're on overtime
Mhm.
and also work on a holiday on the same day, between your salary, overtime, and holiday pay, it could be ridiculous. Well over $100 per hour.
Oh, yeah. And then you get into, well, I haven't had a day off this week either. So now you're past the 7-day stretch mark, and then that automatically kicks into double time. Oh, they know how to run it. Trust me.
I should be a cop.
You're not teaching me anything or them anything either. They know what they're doing. Oh, but trust me, I support all of our first responders, every single one of them. I wouldn't be able to do it, and they probably deserve it. 661-842-KERM. What else?
I wonder how the city will pay the pensions when they go up big in future years.
That's what I told Zack. That's what I told Councilman Bashirtash. These aren't, when you hire somebody, that's not a one-time expense. That's not, oh, well, we're going to use Measure N money to fill this position. Okay, well, now she's making $60,000, $75,000 a year. For how long? Once they hit a certain mark, now they're getting pensions. It's an ongoing mitigating cost that only continues to grow, because then you're going to also have to give them raises. And that's why a majority of our budget is the operating cost. It's insane. $765 million of our $852 million budget is operating costs. That's personnel. And people are mad because the fire and the police department were the actual ones that went up in budget. The police went up by 12 million. Fire went up by 4 million. People are mad about that. I say you can't, even though this police sergeant was making $300 and some thousand a year. The one people I hope they don't put a hiring freeze on is police officers. I'm still waiting for those 100 cops. 661-842-KERM. What else you got?
That's it.
That is all. If you want to join the conversation, you can do so. Speaking of budgets and spending money, not to be outdone by the city, the good old folks at the county thought it would be a good idea to spend $4.6 million on the Hart Park project. Going to be a whole spray pad out there for kids. They saw what the city was doing and how popular they were. They said, we should do that. Hart Park, though, that's kind of far. I don't think I'm going to go out to Hart Park just for the spray park. If they had the boats, Chris, I don't know if you remember, you're probably too young. You're looking at me like you're way too young. I don't know if it was Hart Park. Somebody chime in. I know that one of the listeners remember. They used to have the paddle boats, the ones that you could do your feet, I think. And then the row ones on the lake. I could be wrong. Is that Hart Park? What park is that?
That would have to be Hart Park.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, unless you go down the river.
No. Try to keep people out of the river, Chris. That's the idea of the splash pad. People are going to go in the splash pad and not go in the river. Okay. But $4.6 million on a park. There used to be a soundbite in there. I don't think it's in there anymore. From the old supervisor, Mick Gleason. Because he had a Boston accent, so he'd say "Hot Park." Getting to spend $4.6 million at Hot Park. Supposed to have play equipment. Let's see. The project is funded $3 million in general funds and $1.5 million in Prop 68 money. The hope is that the play area will further enhance the spacious Riverside Park and give visitors a cool option for the river, which routinely kills 4 or 5 people every year. I don't think it's yeah, see, big dog. Hart Park had paddle boats and water slides as well.
I was just about to chime in and tell you that.
Yeah, thanks, big dog. Why don't we have a water park here? Fresno has one. Clovis has one. You go right there to Magic Mountain. They have a water park. Why don't we? We used to have water slides on White Lane. Chris, you're looking at me crazy again. You don't remember those either. There was water slides. First it was water slides, and then it was a Walmart. There was a Walmart right there on White Lane. Okay. See, he's looking at the young kids. You guys don't know.
Don't look at me like
there was water slides.
I I missed out on
There was a maze. Like it had wooden walls and you would have to do the maze. And then for a little bit, they had bungee jumping right there. Somebody back me up so Chris quits looking at me like I'm crazy. We had water slides here. I'm just wondering why. They still have boats, flags, kayak rentals, operates it on weekends. Thanks, Aaron. So apparently they still have some out there. Get the paddle, get the ones that look like swans. You know what I mean? That make them all cute, make people want to go out there. That would work. Set up a little snack shop. It'd probably be vandalized in the first week, but that's why we can't have nice things. $4.6 million on it. It better have something really, really, really nice. 300, let's see, we're at smack dab in the middle. What is it? A splash pad, shade canopies, a climbing tower, swings, seesaw, a balance beam, a sound and music system, all on a special safety surface. And the main attraction, a Kern River themed splash pad. You can have one too for the cost of $4.6 million. And yet we're in a budget. We're in a deficit. We have budget problems, and we all look around and wonder why. I'm not saying we don't need parks. I'm not saying we don't need nice things. But like I tell my daughter, baby, we can't buy that toy this week. Sometimes you can't have the nice toys. Right now, it's tough. Got to get out of here. You guys have a good weekend. Be nice to each other. If you can't find somebody, if you can't find a good person out there this weekend, be that good person. Be the reason somebody smiles. Come to church with me. I'll be at Canyon Hills, 9:30 on Sunday. Be at Battle of the Bartenders on Saturday. And Media Music Jam. I got to get out of here. Stay tuned for Ralph Bailey. Lily, Dad loves you!
This is AM 1180 KERN, Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM, Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Why? What are we doing? I'm scared to come out. Too many people in the hallway.
Trump administration has won a major legal victory.
Hold on, you guys are live. Don't say anything you would regret.
Justices ruled that individual judges